Okay, so I found this report out in Nova Scotia, and their tourism season, it's going well. And it's really nice to see our boardwalks and waterfronts full of tourists. And we should be grateful for every tourist that comes to our country or stays within our country. Because these photos right here is what's happening in Maine. Empty chairs, empty seats, and empty bars. And the thing that's most important to them, empty cash registers. But the report out of Halifax does interview a US couple, and they came up to Canada to make a stand and to support our country. So I do want to acknowledge them as well as the rest of the US citizens that support my channel and also support Canada as well. I know sometimes that might sound like I'm generalizing all US citizens together, but I do my best not to. But while our tourist destinations are doing well, other industries in Canada aren't so lucky. And this is in direct relation to the idiot in the White House and his administration. Oh, I can't forget the 77 million that actually voted for this. But this Alberta business owner here, I believe he's on the brink of eviction. And to be honest, I feel bad for the guy. So we're going to watch this clip later, and I also have a section where I'm going to vent. I even created a section for it. But after hearing this Alberta business owner talk about how he's struggling, and then we have all these stories from the United States and their businesses and how they're trying to persuade us to come back, I feel like I need to vent. So we're going to talk about that later. And again, I want to thank everybody for subscribing to my Substack page. You guys really like this article. I mean, I've never had an article that had like 18,000 views or a couple thousand likes or like over 400 restacks. Someone sent me a DM saying that they actually really like my articles because it sounds like it's coming from a person and not from like a commercial media outlet. I'm definitely not filtered over there. I mean, I'm saying what I want, and I'm just typing whatever's in my head. So I do want to thank everybody that subscribed overnight. I think there was about 300 plus people that actually subscribed. And also a special thank you to everybody that's still contributing to my Buy Me a Coffee page, and is definitely helping to keep the channel and the GTL community going. Oh, stick around to the end. I found a new theme song that I think everybody's going to remember. I totally forgot about this until someone brought it up. So yeah, you'll see at the very end of the video. Alright, let's get to the first report out of Halifax.
On a hot summer day,
ring off the rope without untying the knot.
The jam-packed Halifax waterfront offers a snapshot of the busy tourism vibe in this province.
We're 29% ahead of passenger counts based on this time last year.
The tourism operators say business is on track for a record-breaking year, locally and nationally. According to Stats Canada, tourism revenue across the country has climbed more than 5% compared to the same time frame in 2025.
We have to remember that last year was like a record-breaking year for Canada. And to be 5% on top of that, it actually says a lot. It's the complete opposite of what's happening in our dysfunctional neighbor's country. And I'm just looking at this crowd right now in the screenshot and wondering how many are local Canadians and how many are international tourists. I'm sure by the end of summer, maybe in the October area, we'll probably get the numbers for the summer season. I'll probably have to pick Wayne's brain on this one.
We're having increased Americans taking advantage of the American dollar. We're seeing Canadians stay home.
Donna Riani and her husband are visiting from Boston for the first time.
Well, obviously, the U.S. is not a friendly neighbor anymore.
Given the recent tariff tensions between the two countries, Riani is here to see the sights and show support for her northern neighbors.
It's something I wanted to do. It's nice.
Now, I want to take the time to acknowledge this couple from Boston, because they didn't have to come to Canada. They didn't have to support us. But this is a message to all Canadians that are listening right now or watching. For me, when I go back home in a couple weeks to Vancouver for a short trip, and if I see any US citizens in the downtown area, most likely probably going to be around the Canada Place area where, the cruise ships come in. And if I see any US citizens, I'll do my usual thing. I'll help them and ask if they need directions or need help with directions. But I will also thank them for supporting the Canadian tourism industry. Unless they're wearing a red MAGA hat, then I'll tell them to fuck off. But I encourage all Canadians right now, if you see a US tourist in your city, thank them for supporting our country and also our tourism industry.
As Americans visit Canada, Canadians continue to travel within this country. Domestic tourism remains strong. David Martel from Quebec City was tempted to travel to the U.S., but he decided to stay in his home country.
For now, I'm going to support the local markets.
Now, everybody has a choice. I mean, you can choose to go to the United States or you can choose not to. I'm very glad this guy resisted the temptation, because you're about to see what some of the offers are that are coming from the United States.
The trend of Canadians refusing to travel south of the border is taking a bite out of U.S. tourism. To attract more travelers, Porter Airlines is offering 20% off flights from Canadian cities to New York from August until December. New York is tossing in hotel discounts and cheaper tickets for Broadway shows.
And we're offering 30% off of 85 plus tourism attractions.
Martel says thanks, but no thanks.
Maybe in a couple of years.
He'll spend his vacation money in his home country as the tourism industry continues to surge from coast to coast.
20% off flights and hotel deals and probably at par discounts, I'm guessing. This is what the US tourist industry thinks that Canadians want. We want discounts, we want deals. Well, I hate to say it, that's not what we want. We want your country to sort itself out. And for some of us, it's too late already. We're done with you. Even if you are a blue city or a blue state. But since this report talked about New York City, I wrote an article on New York City a few days ago. And the support for the article, it was overwhelming. Except for this one guy, who was actually from New York City. And I'm going to call him out. Hey, it's my channel. I can do whatever the fuck I want. This guy's name is Sergey. I don't know if I mispronounced that. He says, what exactly New York City did to deserve this offensive article? Offensive. I think he meant offensive. I'm all for boycotting this stupid and horrible country. I live in New York City, and I'm not bitching about Canada doing the right thing. What I don't understand is why you are angry at New York. This city didn't do anything to deserve a bad mouth, and your article is very condescending towards people who have nothing to do with it. I'm ready and prepared to suffer economically. But why? Why is this? Well, Sergey, I think that's how you pronounce your name. New York City is not exempt. You're still part of the United States. And what you don't understand is that New York City still probably has at least a few people that voted for Taco Tuesday. I'm going to guess it's more than a few people. But what's really most offensive to us Canadians is that your tourism, whoever that woman was, the person talking in the interview, is basically trying to convince Canadians to still visit your city, even despite all of the issues at the border, or issues with ICE, or the disrespect coming from your country, your government, your citizens. It's basically saying, oh, just forget everything that our government's doing to you and our, 77 million of our citizens, but we'll give you a discount. New York City, Los Angeles, Seattle, San Francisco, and even Honolulu, all cities that I used to visit. These cities, including yours, you cannot be exempt from what's going on right now. And to say that I'm being condescending towards people that have nothing to do with it, hey, it's your country. You need to fix it. You might not have voted for this, but your fellow citizens did. And you guys are on a team together, and you have a leader who's a fucking idiot. And to prove my point a little bit further, here's the 2024 voting results for your area in New York City. There's a total of 612,513 idiots that voted for Taco Tuesday in your region. And if you want to look at your state overall, 3.5 million of your fellow citizens voted for this idiot. And if you want to look at your surrounding counties, they're freaking red. So don't give me this bullshit excuse saying that, oh, what did New York do to deserve this? Because New York is not as innocent as you think. And your tourism officials, they're just the same as everybody else. They just want our money. And they want us to ignore everything that your country is doing to us. Don't get me wrong, I love New York City, but I'm not going to go there. Because I don't want to risk buying a sandwich from a deli and then finding out that the deli owner voted for Taco Tuesday. Why would I want to give him my money? So seriously, screw off with your victim mentality. And maybe this will help you understand why people are pissed off at the United States and New York. So seriously, enough with your exceptionalism bullshit. My God, that felt good to get out. I just can't stand the victim mentality. We're supposed to ignore everything in certain areas. Oh, we didn't vote for this, and we should be exempt from the hate. Fuck off with that. Seriously. There's no denying how many people voted for Taco Tuesday in the New York City region. We're just supposed to ignore that? Anyways, let's move on to this next report. I forgot what the next report is. Oh yeah, it's a Canadian business in Alberta that's struggling because of the Taco Tuesday policies. Let's take a look.
Strong Arm Sports sells benches, bars, and weights, and is now feeling the weight of U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs.
We're really suffering. We're on the verge of bankruptcy right now.
You never want to hear a Canadian business say this, especially when it's not their fault. Because you're going to hear how the Taco Tuesday tariffs and the policies is putting this guy on the brink of bankruptcy.
Because of that, we're actually being evicted.
Trump's Liberation Day in April 2025 brought in sweeping tariffs that crushed Strong Arm sales. Once 50% of its business, U.S. sales have now dropped to around 5%. That is because most of Strong Arm's products come from China, and U.S. import brokers have told Armstrong the tariff for Chinese goods is 42%.
Any goods that are applicable to Chinese goods have to be paid and we can't afford to pay them.
So here's a question to all the US border businesses that are complaining that they're suffering because we're not coming to their country. What do you have to think about this? Yeah, I know they're not going to respond. I mean, they're too self-absorbed. They're only focused on getting their cash register filled. The US border businesses, the tourism officials, the Chamber of Commerce, everyone that's been begging Canada to come back, they probably don't give a shit about this. I'm going to get into more of this in my event. It's going to be a good one.
Canada's U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc is back in Washington. The talks playing out with Trump's threat of 50% tariffs aimed at Canadian goods, including wine, hockey sticks, and cement. $20 billion in exports at risk starting August 19th. The move is in reaction to provincial bans on U.S. alcohol, supply management on dairy, and certain tariffs and quotas on cars imported to Canada from the U.S.
Now, this report is only focusing on one business that sells gym products. But you have to think about how many other thousands of Canadian companies are being affected by these stupid tariffs. I can safely say it's definitely something these border towns don't think about. I'm trying to stop myself from venting because I want to save that for the end.
We're in the top 3 markets in the world for 47 of the American states. So obviously, despite the bluster, despite the arguments to the contrary on the American side, Canada is very critically important to the Americans.
Back at Strongarm, Armstrong is dealing with over $50,000 in refunds since December and facing eviction. Even if his business continues, he's facing the uncertainty of never-ending fluctuations in the tariff rates.
Every day or every week, it's different. It's been 10%, it's been 20%, it's been 50%.
Tyler Barrow joins us. So Tyler, Canada's federal government implemented a 25% tariff on wood cabinets and vanities.
Alicia, the tariff came into play July 31st and will last for a maximum of 200 days. Now, the federal government calling this a provisional safeguard, which will add a 25% surtax to certain imports of wood cabinets and vanities. Now, the Canadian Wood Products Alliance says prior to this announcement, the U.S. already had its own tariff on these kinds of products, which has created a mismatch in supply coming in from other countries. Ultimately, though, the alliance says this shows the U.S. that Canada is serious when it comes to supporting local industries.
I don't think we have any other choice but to support our own industries. But for businesses like Strongarm who are on the brink of bankruptcy, what are they supposed to do when everything changes on a weekly or monthly basis? I don't think Canadian businesses that are struggling get as much attention as they should be in their media. A lot of the attention is on tourism, like the report that I did earlier. Everything's great in the tourism industry. But what if you're selling products to the United States? I've conducted a couple interviews with Canadian businesses that are now struggling because of the de minimis removal. But that's only 2 businesses out of thousands in Canada that are affected. And like I said, it does bother me that our local media in Canada isn't bringing this up more. I mean, to be honest, I don't have very many reports to talk about. If I had more reports on, say, other businesses like Strongarm that are in the same situation as Strongarm, I would love to show them. But there just isn't any. I was even talking to Evan at TriArt Manufacturing to see if he had anybody in his inner circle that wanted to come onto my channel and, basically do the same kind of interview. But Canadian businesses are hurting. They're hurting just as much as the United States, if not more. And the shitty thing about this is that the Canadian businesses, they had no say in this, and we also didn't start this. Whereas these US businesses just across the border that are fucking begging us, you can bet that some of them did vote for Taco Tuesday. So they had a choice in this. So they're businesses that are failing because Canadians are not spending money in their shop anymore? Well, fuck them. Seriously, fuck them. Because when I heard the story about Strongarm and how their business went from 50% to the US to down to about 5%, it made me really wonder about how many other businesses in Canada are in the same position, or how many have actually closed down. And then my next thought after that is all of these US tourism officials, Chamber of Commerce, and local US businesses that are begging us to come back, to support them. Why should we support them when our businesses are struggling because of them? Why should Canadians cross the border and face bullying at the border just to get into their county or state to spend money at their businesses for people who may have actually voted for this? I'm sorry, but that's not where I want my money to go to. I don't want to give my money to the bully that's bullying all of us. Now here's the biggest question. Do you think any of these people on the screen right now... Actually, shit, I realized I didn't introduce these people. For those of you who are just listening or visually impaired, what I have on the screen right now are 6 people from the United States, and I've featured them many times on my channel. The top left is Mr. Bowtie Guy, CEO and president of Ivers. I really hate this guy. The next one over is someone named Amy, and she's, I think, the GM or owner of Atlantic Hotel and Spa in Florida. And she's literally begging Canadians to come back. Let me show you.
For Faulkner, it already has.
Please, to all the Canadians, we love you. Please come back.
Yeah, that's a hard pass for me. I mean, if you don't like it, you might want to talk to your fellow MAGA Floridians and tell them to smarten up. The next person in the Brady Bunch grid is a travel or tourism official in Rochester. She's the one that basically wrote a love letter to Canada saying that they miss us and that she can't control anything at the border, but if you do end up getting across the border, then you'll have fun in Rochester. That's basically it. The second row, our least favorite governor, Governor Mills, who gaslit Canadians into thinking that we're not hurting the Taco Tuesday administration, we're hurting our friends in the United States, and it's disappointing to her. Well, fuck off, Governor Mills. The next person over is somebody from the North Country Chamber of Commerce, and she's basically saying that the North Country Chamber of Commerce, or the North Country area, has a special relationship with Canada that no other border state does. Well, I sorry to say, but every border state says that. So unfortunately, you're not special. And for the record, this person in the middle there, she actually emailed me last year wanting to have a good dialogue on why the North Country stands out. I replied back and said, sure, let's have a conversation, but I want the conversation to be on my channel, and I'm going to tell you what Canadians think. I never heard a response from her. And they're probably still watching my videos, so if you're watching this right now, person in the middle, I'm more than happy to have a conversation with you, but it might not go the way that you want. And last but not least, on the bottom right, we have a Florida, I think from Fort Lauderdale, a Fort Lauderdale tourism official. And she was the one that kicked off the whole, we welcome you with open arms. And when you're ready to come back, we'll accept your money. She even says something like, we're the same people that you remember before, which, if you ask me, that's not really a selling point. So I apologize to those that are visually impaired or just listening right now. I didn't realize you couldn't see what's on the screen. But back to my original question. Do you think any of these 6 people that are on the screen right now, do you think they know what's going on in Canada? Do you think they know what's happening with our Canadian businesses? Do you think they care? I'm going to go off on a limb here and say that they don't even know. And what their country is doing to Canada and our businesses is not really a priority for them. Because what they've proven to us over the last year and a half is that their priority is only themselves, their businesses, their state, their county, their bottom line. So I have to ask, why the fuck should we be supporting them? What we should be doing is supporting our Canadian businesses. Because they're in a position right now where they didn't have a choice and they didn't vote for this either. I would love to do more interviews with Canadian businesses, but I just don't know where to start. But what I do know is that anytime I hear a sob story from the United States anymore, it's probably going to get a lot more spicier, I guess. So to this guy in New York who's basically crying, oh, what did New York do to deserve this? Well, I already told you, you got plenty of MAGA in your city, whether you want to believe it or not. And second, Canadians don't do very well when your tourism officials are trying to sell us to spend our money in your city when our businesses are struggling because of your country. So seriously, get lost with your entitlement. If anybody actually wants to see this guy's comment, I'll leave a link to my Substack article below. I'm not gonna lie, it felt really, really good to get all of that out. To close out this video, I would like to thank Disagreeable from our Discord server for posting this photo up from Pierce Rock in, oh man, I'm gonna butcher this, La Roche-Perche. I believe I had a photo of this last year as one of my backdrops, but it was from a different angle. So I appreciate you sharing this with the community. Alright everyone, that's all I got for this video, and I apologize my rant was long. I thought it would only be like a couple minutes, but I think I got a little bit carried away. But if you're still here watching to the end, I appreciate you helping the algorithm to show this to more people. Because watching to the end does help. Even though I'm not monetized, I still want people to watch my videos. So thank you again for watching to the end. And if you did get any value out of this and you want to support my channel, consider checking out my Substack page as well as my Buy Me a Coffee page. Thanks everyone, I'll catch you in the next one.